another generational thing that I think your generation invented, didn't escape my timeline all week. Ghostwriting. That's y'all swag.
That's our swag?
Yeah, you guys invented ghostwriting.
I don't think people know what ghostwriting is, though.
I don't think they do either.
Rapper's Delight. That's ghostwriting.
Yeah, but ghostwriting means that somebody wasn't credited for writing.
Yes.
I think that all of these songs or reference tracks that are coming out, I don't check all of, the credits and things like that, but I'm pretty sure all of these people have been credited on all of these records.
Before we get into this, who do you think really coined that term? Do you think it was Kanye, college dropout, when he was telling the story of ghost producing for D-Dot, and then D-Dot came out and was like, bro, you were credited on everything, got paid. That's not ghost producing.
Yeah.
Like, you worked on records with me.
Mm-hmm.
You got your credit. You're in the Harlem World credits.
Yeah.
You got paid. You did not ghost produce.
Mm-hmm.
You collabed with me.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think Kanye started this whole ghostwriting?
No, that ghostwriting was a term way before.
No, I know that, but I'm saying this craze and this focus on it. I don't think it was really a thing until Kanye became such a superstar that he kind of forced people, the way 50 forced people to look at numbers. I almost feel like Kanye forced people to look at credits when he just kept rapping about, yo, I did this Blueprint beat. I did this. Yo, just did this. Like,
well, I think in this situation, I think the Meek and Drake battle is what caused people to start using this term when it comes to Drake, and saying he doesn't write, which is, I'm, again, they kill me anytime I speak about Drake, but whatever. I'm just tired of talking about this because he's never said he hasn't worked on records with people. These artists are credited on these songs. He's been very vocal about working with artists, liking to work with different artists on records. The artists that he's worked with have spoken about their contribution to records. Most notably, Quentin Miller was very vocal about the album when he came to the studio was pretty much done. Drake definitely writes his shit, even with this new reference track that leaked with I believe Rory.
Rory did Mob Ties, yeah,
Rory,
and then PND did Ratchet Happy Birthday.
I believe Rory did. He referenced what sounds like the hook. When you listen to
the flow, in the cadence, which is cool.
But the verse, the actual lyrics in the verse is Drake. If you listen to the album, I don't hear Rory referencing any of Drake's verse.
He clearly came up with cadences and came up with certain stuff, but I kind of don't care.
I mean, it's not about caring. It's just that people in the moment right now.
I'm not as outraged as everyone else.
But this is part of the newfound hatred for Drake and people that don't like Drake, and he doesn't write, and he has people writing his verses and all his records. This is just the moment that we're in right now. All of a sudden, Drake doesn't write anything, even though your favorite artists are on these same YouTube channels saying that he's written verses and songs for them. But when tracks like this come out and then leak, Drake does all of a sudden, he doesn't write his own shit. I mean, he's vocal about loving to work with Party on records, which is his artist. So the Ratchet Happy Birthday song, that reference leak. Again, you can hear the differences. Yes, did Party lay the ideas? Is he referencing the idea, cadence, flow? Yes.
For Ratchet Happy Birthday, the lyrics as well.
But he always talks about working with Party, like Party writing shit for him. Like that's not. That's why we say Ghost. It's like he's spoken about.
Yeah,
this.
If you're reading this, it's too late. I'm a Legend. Love that intro. One of my favorite Drake intros. There's a full reference of Party doing that.
Right.
Like even people that aren't in the industry or in the know, like if you're just a nerd and are on the internet, there's a million references to Drake records that aren't the Quentin Miller ones, that aren't the Mob Ties ones, like that aren't certain Party records. Like he's been doing this forever, and I guess I just don't really care.
No, well, this is the time.
But I know the outrage and why it's coming. Because before, when the Quentin Miller shit happened, oh, holy shit, that's crazy. Drake survived it. Because all of us were like, all right, cool, he's a pop star. A lot of that shit was still rap records, but it was hits. Like, it's cool. It was a hook. As long as it's not the timestamp ones. I think the more this shit comes out, the closer some of us are getting to, all right, man, there might be a timestamp reference one day. It's getting us closer to us not making excuses anymore. Because it's just so many records at this point, and we're getting closer and closer to, all right, man, what happens when 5 a.m. in Toronto comes out?
Yeah, no, I don't think that that's happening, though.
It doesn't feel like it's just a few records anymore. I'm saying perception-wise. I look through credits because I'm a nerd.
How many reference tracks have leaked?
Oh, man.
Countless.
Too many.
I don't
to
even
count.
know how many at this
Yeah.
point.
How many
What-
timestamps? No timestamp records.
Oh, yeah.
Zero.
Well, how many
How many
timestamp
records-
records,
how
are
many-
there? There's only like
There's
7
only like
timestamp
6 or 7. Yeah.
records.
How many of his verses, bars, have leaked? Or reference tracks for those? Like with people rapping Drake's raps, not his vibe records like Mob Ties and those. I'm talking about rapping. How many reference tracks of those have leaked?
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I will say everyone that's listening to this will just say you're just moving the goalpost.
How am I moving the goalpost for something that has been spoken about years ago? I understand in the moment people want to discredit Drake. He lost the battle. Kendrick raps better than him. Drake is a terrible artist. He doesn't write none of his shit.
Well, to be
He's
fair,
a
this
corny
isn't in the
rapper.
moment because these conversations were had during the Quentin Miller thing. I don't care
But
about
if the conversation was had, did they not hear Quentin say his album was already done and Drake writes all of his raps? Did they not hear that part?
No, of course not.
Exactly. So why do I have to be here to say it and then be called a glazer for another 2 weeks?
Fair.
Like Quentin Miller said it. Kanye West said it.
I agree with you.
Like, what the
They've
fuck are we
been
talking
tearing
about?
me up on Twitter for forever because I said like this is a vibe record. I wasn't expecting Drake to be writing these. I don't think Drake writes the majority of his music. Like his music, I'm like, why does he have to be Brian Michael Cox and fucking come up with hooks and melodies and all of that shit? Like, and they're like, oh, fucking Jay-Z doesn't have any reference tracks. And then I just shut up and I don't say nothing because if I say what I want to say, y'all gonna call me a hater. And it's really not that. But Jay don't make songs like Drake makes songs, and he doesn't make
They're two different
successful
type of
songs
artists. Like I
like
said,
Drake.
when you start hearing
He's a pop artist.
you start showing me dudes that's like with Drake rap his bars, like Wickman and all of that, and those type of first person shooter, you start showing me reference tracks of those and niggas spitting those bars. Oh, then I come on here and say something totally different. I start speaking differently. But I know that that's something that's not gonna happen because it's been cemented already by the guys that work with Drake, that go in the studio with him, and they're telling you out of their mouths, not me, these writers, these artists are saying the dude definitely writes his own raps. What are people talking about?
All right,
But I understand in the moment. I get it. I understand. Everybody, this is the season for discrediting Drake and everything that he's done and accomplished thus far. I get it.
the same way you talked about with the Cole thing, like he can't talk as greasy anymore because of certain things. That's where I feel like a lot of fans are at now with the amount of reference tracks that have came out with Drake. Like, you never hear us say Kanye West is in the best MC category. Like, we don't debate that because we know who Kanye's an artist. He's a collaborator, he's a producer, he's that.
Mm-hmm.
Always has been that. Drake has talked greasy like he is the greatest rapper of all time. He has been debated in barbershops with the likes of Hove, Nas, whether you like it or not. We've put Drake in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think fans that are talking MC shit are starting to get to the point of like, all right, man, it's getting a little too far with some of these references. It's not just Majid, just hold on, we're going home. It's not just pop records anymore. So yeah, it's starting to have people feel like there's an asterisk. And I also don't think we'll ever get a timestamp record reference because I don't think that's how Drake collaborates when it comes to raps.
So
I don't think there will never be a 9 a.m. in Dallas.
Raps?
Huh?
You believe he writes his raps?
I think Drake is a phenomenal writer, but I also think Drake collabs and gets a lot of help. I think there's been plenty of times he sat in the studio, like a lot of your favorite rappers,
Mm-hmm.
and has had his collaborators in the room feeding him lines. I think a lot of timestamp records, he's probably had help from Hush. He's admitted that he thinks Hush is the greatest rapper of all time.
Mhm.
I think there's been plenty of timestamps where he's gotten help. But I also think there's been plenty of times where Hove has been fed lines. I
Mhm.
think Nas has been fed lines. I think every great rapper has been fed lines. I think Drake maybe has been fed a little bit more than the average rapper because he's such a collaborator and has such a chemistry with his circle of people, including Hush, who's been with him forever. Who's been in the credits of Thank Me Later, of the thank yous.
Mhm.
Thank you, Hush, for putting all these records together with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we'll ever get like a Hush 8 a.m. in Charlotte reference because I don't think that's how he writes them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Hush may write 8 bars and Drake may rap that shit.
Mm.
But I think
Yeah,
I think some of my favorite rappers ever have done the same fucking thing.
Agree.
Yeah, but I don't
Like,
think
that's why I don't put it on Drake like that.
I agree that a lot of rappers probably do have people that they're in the studio with that, throw lines and you should say it like this, that type of. I've seen it. But I'm talking about with Drake in particular, it's to the point where people are now starting to try to build this narrative that he doesn't write any of his raps. And that's to me what I'm just like, I can't entertain that conversation because it's just stupid. Because again, you have the same guys that are credited for collaborating and writing on certain songs.
Mhm.
They're telling you out of their mouths, not me, not you. These guys are saying he absolutely writes his own raps. He writes his bars.
Well-
Now, do we collaborate on style and sauce and certain records and vibes and shit like that? Of course. But when it comes to the bars and raps, not songs, not, those type of records. I'm talking about bars. Do I believe Drake is writing his own bars? Absolutely.
So I agree with you. When it comes to Mob Ties, a lot of people are saying, and Drake has also kind of insinuated that Mob Ties was a response to the Pusha situation. So for you not to write that, I think a lot of people's feelings were hurt. I remember Julian texted group chat like, damn, Mob Ties with the broken hearts emojis and shit. Like, because a lot of people felt like that was a response to Pusha.
Yeah, and
But his raps on it, Rory is not rapping what Drake is rapping on that record. Is he rapping the hook and the style of the record and the cadence? Yeah. I'm talking about the bars on Mob Ties. Rory's not rapping that on that reference track. You don't hear him saying none of those bars that Drake is rapping.
There's like one or two, but it's not that big of a deal to me. Even
is it? Because what I just listened to, is none of that is on there.
What a GLE ain't another one fast.
some of it's there, but also there's some bars on the Future reference to Drunken Love that Hov rap. Like certain small bars to get you to the next line. Like that's collaborating. I don't really look at that as that crazy.
No, I'm talking about when he's rapping.
Dude caught a cool pocket and Drake followed the pocket, followed a lot of the tones, the background, that shit, like all that. He followed.
That again, what?
Do that again?
Do that again?
Listen.
Because you are one. You could say it.
I also like the original. I don't like that Drake changed that shit to.
Nah, he made it worse.
I'm not with the rah-rah. I am a da-da.
Yeah, I like that.
I've hated that bar since Scorpion came out.
Mm.
But I like Mob Ties.
This is before you were Dada.
Ew.
I'm still with the rah-rah.
Okay, got it.
Hey, gang.
I am a da-da.
No worry, Ma.